This might be, and it's not a competition that has to be held or won, but this might be my favourite cookbook we've ever had on the show. Seriously.
Oh my goodness, that is high praise.
Because you've taken a chance on a chicken and you have gone for it, haven't you? So it is a meat-based cookbook, isn't it? So there's a phrase for that in your world, isn't there? What is it?
What would you call that? A paradox? Oxymoron?
No, that's in our world. But no, isn't there a phrase? Isn't it like plant-based meat or something?
Plant protein, alt protein, all of these things.
Right. So it doesn't say vegan meat on the front cover. It just says meat. And also, you crack on with it because all the recipes don't mention the fact that, like, for example, the crispy Korean-style chicken wings are, in fact, faux chicken wings.
Yes,
and the chicken substitute would be there. I would imagine some tofu in the middle of all that.
Yeah. That's right.
So you talk about spaghetti bolognese. It's ultimate spaghetti bolognese. Again, no suggestion of meat substitute in the title, but it's all there in the recipe. Duck pancakes are duckless.
Yeah, Jack's right. All the way. Yeah,
we're trying to drive through the protein succession, right? And we're trying to indicate that there is a world where meat can be made from plants. It's a flavour at the end of the day. And if you think about a sausage, you can have a veggie sausage, and that's not a problem anymore. Or a veggie burger, you can have a veggie burger. We all accept that. And what we're trying to look is maybe 2 years, 3 years, 5 years into the future, where actually we all just accept that meat can be made from plants, and that's fine. It's without judgment. You can cook it however you want to cook it, but let's be honest about the fact that we do know now how to make protein from beans, which is amazing.
And in a way, I suppose there's so many messages within the book. In a way, I am the beneficiary of Natasha's plant-based batch cooking.
Yes.
The food that Tash makes, it doesn't matter whether there's meat in it, whether there's moon dust in it. It's just gorgeous.
Yeah.
And that's the problem. That is the major sticking point. That is the major mountain that lots of people have to climb when it comes to eating well. Let's forget the fact it's meat versus plants.
Yep.
Just eating well, or eating unprocessed food. It's so difficult to make it tasty, but if you can, actually, it's not so difficult. The perception is it's so difficult. It takes some effort, but the goal that's on the other side of that hard is worth it.
Yeah, I mean, it's easy when you know how, and that's why we put that book together. Because one thing that people seem to really lack when they first adopt a plant-based diet is texture and chew and bite. So what we wanted to do is show people that if you take the right vegetables and cook them in the correct way, then you can really get fantastic texture, get loads of flavour in there, and recreate those meaty sensations that they have grown up with.
Yeah, and the kids won't know the difference.
Absolutely.
And the other thing about, the other strong philosophy for, better health and better wealth for ourselves and also the planet. Bear in mind, we're not talking about saving the planet. The planet's going to be fine. Whether we're going to be around to be on the planet is a completely different matter.
Very good point.
That's because there's always save the Earth, or I can't remember what it was.
Yeah, they would save the Earth. They would save the planet.
And it was like, no, Earth's going to be fine. It's the parasites that are in peril, and that's us lot. Non- or plant-based food doesn't have to be as tasty as more sort of traditional food that isn't good for you. It has to be tastier. That's the thing, isn't it?
Yeah.
So your Beyond Burgers, your Impossible Burgers, their philosophy from those multi-billion-dollar companies is, no, it has to be not as affordable. It has to be more affordable, and it has to be tastier to get people to change their habits.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and some of the plant-based meat companies that are coming out now are doing that.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm going to drop the name of it. It's Juicy Marbles. That company have managed to crack fibrous nature of beef, and we've actually featured their product on the front cover of the book, and it just looks like meat, it tastes like meat, it sizzles like meat, and it is very, very delicious, but it doesn't have the same carbon footprint.
I love stewed steak, right?
Yeah.
My mum used to make stewed steak. She made the best stewed steak in the world. I used to love Time Brand tinned stewed steak. I love pulled pork. I love Lancashire hot pot. I was brought up with this kind of food, and I would not be able to tell the difference.
No. We should have brought that in for you.
Oh, yeah, well, listen, I'm happy with the sausage rolls. We're all happy with the sausage rolls.
Yes, we are.
Do you know, the other thing about this plant meat is it's out there. It's getting a bit of a bad rap at the moment because of, some sales are down, and there's a phrase ultra-processed that people freak out about. But if we were to take the comparison of flying and a train to go on holiday, right? Like, it's fine to go on holiday, and if you fly, we're not going to judge you for it, but at least we know that it's a bit worse for the planet, and we can bear that in mind. And I think what we really want to happen with these plant-based proteins is for people to realise that plant meat is a bit better for the planet, but if you want to have meat, that's fine, that's your call, but at least let's have an open and frank discussion about that. And that's really our core message here, as well as it can be absolutely delicious.
You have really gone for this, haven't you? Because not only is the book called Meat, and it's got no meat in it, and some people will buy it. I mean, lots of people are going to buy it mistakenly, and they might not notice until they go, when do I need to go to the butcher's? Never.
I'm going to say something right now. So Tom just showed us a picture earlier on. And basically, right, so he's gone into the supermarket, and at the meat counter, there's 2 cookbooks, and one of them is ours. Like on the counter of the meat in the supermarket.
So not only is the book called Meat, not only is every recipe have a meat or a fish in the title with no substitute, and the word substitute isn't in any of the titles.
Yep.
You have a whole section on lamb, and it's called lamb.
All the chapters are like that. So we have a chicken chapter, poultry chapter, lamb chapter. All of the chapters are just types.
I'm not
of meat.
joking.
Yeah.
I agree with you, right? 100%. And I'm not playing devil's advocate.
Yeah.
Genuine question. How did you get this past the publishers? Because they're notoriously frightened of things like this. They're frightened of 1% of things like this.
Yeah, it's true. Well, we're lucky enough to be published by HarperCollins, who are also based in the building that we're sat in right now. And we've obviously, they trust us because we've sold 1 million cookbooks. Every concept that we've come up with has been a success. And they were pleased to sort of publish it. But one thing that they did insist is put that chapter that you're looking at right there, the how to make meat, right at the front of the book, because that is really, really interesting cooking techniques that you've got there.
It's funny, isn't it? Because we are living in the research and development, the public front-facing, middle and front-facing public research and development chapter of this world, in as much as, you know, when meat-free bacon came out, we all went, nice at it, it's rubbish.
Yeah.
It's getting better.
Brand new, isn't it? It's just out there. We're at the beginning of innovation, just like with AI. This is like the start of something new and very exciting.
I think bacon, because bacon is notoriously, look, you might not like bacon, but I don't believe there's anybody with nostrils who doesn't like the smell of bacon.
Yeah.
You know,
True.
Bacon is the downfall of many ex-vegetarians.
Yeah.
They, you know, usually a bacon sandwich after a big night out.
Absolutely.
They got them back on the meat wagon, literally. How good is it now? How hard was it? And give us some more facts and figures about where we are.
Yeah. I would say the bacon-wise, in terms of our recipe, it's pretty good. It's an easy one that you can make at home. Go on, Ian, what's the recipe?
So we've got vital wheat gluten, which is a really sort of protein-rich flour, essentially, and we're blending that with chickpeas, which is also protein-rich. And we're taking our main dough, and we're using the white part, which we've flavoured with miso to give it the saltiness of the bacon. And we're making a red part with beetroot powder to give it the red. And then essentially what we're doing is rolling both of those two doughs out into a big flat kind of shape, and then we're piling those shapes up on each other to form the bacon look.
Strata.
Yeah, exactly. And once you've got that, you squashed it down, and then you freeze it off so it all binds together nicely, and then you unfreeze it, you chop it out, you fry it up, and it is pretty damn good. And when you put it in with some lettuce, some tomato, and a nice ciabatta roll with some vegan mayonnaise, you can't tell the difference.
Yeah, and you just want ultimately you want the savoury sort of aspect to sort of accentuate every other flavour that's in there. With the sweet and the salt and the savoury and the...
Can I just add, Chris? Ian just used an interesting word there, right? Dough. Which is not something you would associate with meat. And a lot of people are a bit wondering, what are these products you can buy on supermarket shelves? And ultimately what they are is, they are a dough. But the dough is made with pea protein or soy protein or wheat protein. And it's so similar to how we make bread, which is really interesting. People get freaked out about it, but you don't have to. We would recommend, if you haven't tried a plant-based meat, just give one a try.
Yeah.
Well, they're gorgeous. I mean,
right?
It's a real fun game to play. If you're having a barbecue with your mates, you know, and they're really looking forward to coming around, just don't tell them. They won't. They'll probably say something like, "This is the best burger I've ever had in my life."
It's true. Well, yeah, they might guess if it's us two cooking, but
yeah, we'll just hide you around the corner
other people
for a big Ant and Dec reveal at the end.
So have you done that, Chris?
Surprise! Yeah, no, loads of times.
Amazing.
I mean, because I'm very lucky because I'm married to.
Yeah.
She's the opposite. Very unlucky because she's married to who she's married to. Philly cheesesteak. I mean, look at this burger. Look at that burger. Tell us about the Philly cheesesteak burger.
Oh, well, the Philly cheesesteak is something, well, it's like the main food coming out of Philadelphia.
Of course it is.
And what we've done there is we've made a really sort of umami-rich, meaty gravy, and we've got chunks of plant-based steak, and then we've sort of simmered it down, and then we're just basically serving it in a hoagie roll with some vegan cheddar. And again, it looks the business, it smells the business, and it tastes delightful too, just without the meat.
Tassy's vegan gravy, which he served up at Christmas, because we had a proper turkey and we had plant-based turkey as well, but everybody had the vegan gravy, and they said it's the best gravy they've ever had.
Good. Nice. What was the base of it? Was it a red wine or a mushroom?
There'll be a red wine. There'll be mushrooms in there. I mean, I can get her on. So there's miso in there as well. There's harissa in there. There's all the, you know the score.
That's the best thing about gravy. You can just keep on just adding bits to it until it's good. Do you know what I mean? Like, you get your base recipe, it's like, okay, just do a little bit of that, a little bit of this, and before you know it, you've got the best gravy ever, and someone says, have you got the recipe? And you're like, nope.
No.
Right, lobster rolls. What's in your lobster, boys?
Ooh. Hearts of Palm, which is, you may remember it from the 1980s, along with like prawn cocktail and black square plates. It's a bit of a retro ingredient.
Black square plates?
Yeah, do you remember those?
Yes,
they were
please,
trendy.
And what was the smoked glass coffee tables?
Oh, yes.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
I mean, I was only just born, so I don't really remember it.
Yeah, but I mean, so those Hearts of Palm are just a really nice way to carry flavour, and they have the same texture, a soft texture of like crab, or indeed, in this case, lobster. And then you make a Mary Rose sauce, and you pop it again in a hoagie roll with some iceberg lettuce, and it's a great sarnie.